You really don't get more pathetic and dangerous than Donald Trump and his ranting and ravings this morning after Israel struck Iranian nuclear facilities and killed a lot of Iranian military leadership. Trump's post this morning just so absolutely absurd. What a liar, how pathetic he is. Let's just take a look at what went down. So remember yesterday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio put out a statement saying that tonight Israel took unilateral action against Iran, that the United States had nothing to do with it at all, period, full stop. We had absolutely nothing to do with this. And then Donald Trump's post before Israel attacked Iran that Marco Rubio reposted was, "We remain committed to a diplomatic resolution to the Iran nuclear issue. My entire administration has been directed to negotiate with Iran. They could be a great country, but they first must completely give up hopes of obtaining nuclear weapons. Thank you for your attention to this matter." And there were supposed to be discussions about the nuclear deal between the United States and Iran on Sunday. Very high-profile discussions that have been talked about everywhere. Is this like a big crowning moment? The Trump regime wanted to do this deal with Iran. But then Israel views Donald Trump as pathetic and weak, as the rest of the world views Donald Trump as pathetic and weak. They view him as a taco. Trump always chickens out. And I think Israel just said, look, we think that that deal could be harmful for us, so we're going to attack Iran first. We don't see any repercussions. Donald Trump will see what we did and then probably end up just joining us anyway. The moment we do it, he'll be stuck. Are you going to side with Iran or are you going to side with Israel, is how we'll frame the issue for Trump. And then we'll basically pressure Donald Trump to not just be supportive of the preemptive strikes by Israel against Iran, but basically get Donald Trump to have the United States join the war and involve the United States in a hot war, a combat, put American troops fighting in Iran. And that's kind of what Donald Trump just admitted to this morning. I mean, this was Donald Trump's post at about 3 a.m. in the morning. He goes, I think it's like more like 6 a.m. East Coast. He goes, "I gave Iran chance after chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest of words to just do it. But no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they got, they just couldn't get it done." So just pause there. I read for you Donald Trump's post 12 hours before that I remain committed and open to discussions and negotiations. So you can already see that that's internally inconsistent with what he just posted, aka a lie. "I told them it would be much worse than anything they know, anticipated, or were told, that the United States makes the best and most lethal military equipment anywhere in the world, by far, and that Israel has a lot of it with much more to come, and they know how to use it. Certain Iranian hardliners spoke bravely, but they didn't know what was about to happen. They are all dead," and he puts dead in caps. "They are all dead now, and it will only get worse. There has already been great death and destruction, but there is still time to make this slaughter, with the next already planned attacks being even more brutal, come to an end. Iran must make a deal before there is nothing left and save what was once known as the Iranian Empire. No more death, no more destruction. Just do it before it's too late. God bless you all." What's the Iranian Empire? Does he mean the Persian Empire? I mean, what is he even talking about there? But do you see how he centers himself? And this is what California Governor Gavin Newsom says. He centers himself as the protagonist, not actually in real life, but in his own delusional, addled mind, of this fictitious world that he lives in. And he acts like, it's dangerous because he's saying it public, but he's basically saying the United States was the central actor in attacking Iran. I mean, what Marco Rubio absolutely denied, Trump's like, "We did it. We did a great job." Like this account, The Real AB, goes, "Why does this man keep putting himself as the focal point of the world when he is totally unable to deal with reality? Social media posts do not solve world issues. Strong leadership does. He is not capable of being a strong leader, and the world is suffering as a result." And this other account goes, "Too bad. If I were president, this would never have happened." That was Donald Trump's always line. Imagine if former President Biden was in charge when this took place. If I would have stopped this, I would have been a powerful negotiator. You saw his post and Rubio's post. There was supposed to be a negotiation on Sunday. So that was the plan. Tell Iran we're going to do a negotiation on Sunday and then be inextricably intertwined in an attack on Iranian nuclear facilities, as well as residential properties, killing huge numbers of people, of leaders in Iran's government and in their military. Ryan Grimm says, the U.S. and Iran were scheduled to meet Sunday to continue nuclear talks. Trump told Israel publicly and privately not to attack before the talks were over. Israel clearly believes they can force the U.S. into a war of their choosing. Because for Donald Trump, it's the law of the weak. They realize how weak Donald Trump is. Look what's happening on the domestic front as well with Donald Trump. This morning, we got notice that the full bench of the New York-based Second Circuit Court of Appeals has denied Donald Trump's appeal of E. Jean Carroll's sexual assault case against him. Donald Trump will likely appeal to the Supreme Court. But we all recognize, that's why we articulate it clearly here on the MeidasTouch Network. Donald Trump's a felon. Donald Trump's a sexual abuser. Donald Trump's a fraud. Donald Trump's a bankrupter. His whole life has been destroying business after business. Certainly not a good judge of character. Remember, Donald Trump had... Because they're like his character. Remember one of Donald Trump's big allies during the campaign, Antonio Brown, the ex-NFL player. Well, this morning we also learned that Trump's big surrogate, Antonio Brown, wanted for attempted murder after a Miami boxing event. Oops, Donald, it looks like your buddy Tucker Carlson has a little bit different take of what you're saying. Here's what Tucker Carlson said a few months back. It's worth pointing out that a strike on the Iranian nuclear sites will almost certainly result in thousands of American deaths, Tucker Carlson says, at bases throughout the Middle East and cost the United States tens of billions of dollars. The cost of future acts of terrorism on American soil may even be higher. Those aren't guesses. Those are the Pentagon's own estimates. A bombing campaign against Iran will set off a war, and it will be America's war. Don't let the propagandists lie to you. Oh, that's very interesting, Tucker. By the way, good morning, everybody. The sun's up right now. This is what it looks like in Washington, D.C. today as our members of the military are preparing for their marching in Donald Trump's dictator parade. That's what it looks like right there. We have an image of that. Two Israeli officials claiming to Axios that Trump and his aides were only pretending to oppose. And Israel really knows how to play Donald Trump. They know that they can say that. And Donald Trump goes, ooh, I look tough. Now that the strikes seem to be successful in the sense that it seemed to hit the nuclear facilities pretty hard, and they killed mostly all of their targets and then some. Donald Trump's like, ooh, maybe I'll take credit for this and I'll say that I did this. That's like Trump's MO. And Israel knew how to play exactly into that of Donald Trump. They have a psychological profile of him down to a pat, but frankly, all foreign leaders do at this point. Two Israeli officials claimed to Axios that Trump and his aides were only pretending to oppose an Israeli attack on Iran in public and didn't express opposition in private. We had a clear U.S. green light. So then Donald Trump posts, 2 months ago, I gave Iran a 60-day ultimatum to make a deal. They should have done it. Today's day 61, of course. We all remember the 60-day deadline, the 90-day deadlines, the 30-day deadlines, the 2-week deadlines, the 5-day deadlines. Sure, Donald, sure. 2 months ago, I gave Iran a 60-day ultimatum to make a deal. Today, Friday, it's day 61. I told them what to do, but they just couldn't get there. Now they have perhaps a second chance. Oh, so that was the strategy. So your strategy was on Friday to post, we remain committed to a diplomatic resolution to the Iran nuclear issue. And then you posted that on Thursday. And then on Friday, you post, all of you are dead. You are dead. You should have listened to me. Well, if they were listening to you, then you were saying that you were committed to a diplomatic resolution. And then a few hours later, the strikes took place. Your word is worth nothing. By the way, as you look through Donald Trump's social media, this is a legitimate ad. that shows in between his posts about the military strikes on Iran and the U.S. potentially entering in a war. I kid you not. There is a photo. This is from Trump's platform on Trump owns this. He's in charge of the ads that goes on it on his account. It's a photo of him wearing an orange jumpsuit, and it says innocent, yes or no. I'm going to have to click the no button. No. No. Okay. The U.S., the Pentagon is moving U.S. destroyers towards the Eastern Mediterranean as the war heats up right there. We're hearing now both from India and Japan, very far away from doing any trade deals with Donald Trump. These two headlines from today. India, U.S. hardened trade stance as July tariff deadline nears. Japan and U.S. still far apart on tariff talks. Prime Minister Ishiba of Japan says that would not come as a surprise to you if you've been watching the MeidasTouch network. We've been saying what's going on with India and Japan now for months. Every time Donald Trump was out there with the headline, we're 2 weeks away from a deal, we're 2 weeks a day from a deal, we would tell you that was not happening at all. Two other stories I want to talk about quickly. The whole world is recognizing how China outplayed the United States. Trump miscalculated China. Now the administration's trying to fix this mess. That's from the Washington Post editorial board. The Chinese taco, says Bloomberg. They have seen him in previous instances back down. China made the gamble that he would back down again, and China just completely outplayed him. And the other story, again, we've been covering here now for weeks that you're now seeing percolate in other corporate news is remember when Donald Trump went to U.S. Steel and he gave that speech and he said the U.S. is going to control everything right now? And I was like, nope, they're not going to be controlling everything. It's a deal where Japan, as the Japanese company, is acquiring everything. And I pointed that out and I said, Trump's just like lying about the deal. Well, now we're seeing Nippon Steel from Japan basically saying that they need control. If this is an acquisition, Japan needs the Japanese company needs to control the company it's acquiring. Otherwise, it's not going to do a deal. So this may be another example where Trump destroys the deal between Japan or the Japanese company Nippon and U.S. Steel by lying and saying that the U.S. company is going to be controlling this, which is not happening at all. Well, there you have it. We'll keep you posted every step of the way here on the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million subscribers.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.meidastouch.com. All 100% USA Union made.